Today is an exciting day. Since I started the film mandate with two of the biggest stories I'm about to share today. More particularly, I'm much excited about the second one. Not to say I'm not thrilled about the first one, though. So, beginning, we'll be starting with the Marvel announcement of the Avengers Doomsday cast lineup, which they held about a 5 hour stream to just unveil the names of those who will be starring in the Avengers Doomsday movie coming in 2026, which they did yesterday. And also, about 2 days ago, Idris Elba officially went to see the Ghana chief, that's the Osu Ghana chief, to confirm their plans for a studio that they will be building in Ghana. And this is really exciting. So stay tuned and we'll get right into the stories after this brief break. I am Papa O2 and welcome to the Film Mandate. I'm excited to have you joining in as we have this wonderful discussions about movies, movie news, and related film related content from both the African scene and the international front. And today we have one of the biggest news in comic book fandom that's happened yesterday as Marvel streamed a number of names as to who will be appearing in the movie The Avengers Doomsday. I would like to show you a brief clip as they unveiled some of the stars that will be showing in the movie Avengers Doomsday. And this they did in a different fashion that most of us are used to the way they do it at Comic Con and other, D23 and other big platforms. So just watch this brief clip, which is a very short version than the more than 5 hour stream they did earlier. That's quite a number of choice. That's Dr. Doom himself. So that is really exciting with this announcement here. And it's this is quite a roster of actors in a movie. No wonder the movie duration announced by the Russo brothers is over 3 hours long. And I'm sure you may be wondering, how are they going to put all these actors, and these are the known names in the MCU roster. I mean, MCU comic book universe. So you are wondering, I mean, you'll be wondering that how are they going to be able to give them enough screen time so that it doesn't feel forced or rushed? Knowing what the Russo brothers have already done with Infinity War and then the End Game. And for those who have watched their series before they join Marvel, that is Community, they are able to work on character dynamics so that they don't feel forced. They feel very natural and organic, and the chemistry between the characters work really well. So I don't doubt their capacity or their capability in being able to put all these characters together. Now, from what I heard previously, I learned the number of names that they were going to release was going to be around 45, about 45 names. From this video, from what I watched yesterday, the numbers we counted was around 28. So meaning there's about, I think 27. So meaning there's about 17 or 18 more names to be released. So it is quite exciting, especially for Marvel diehards or just film enthusiasts in general concerning this movie that will be coming in a year, a little over a year, because it's releasing in May 26th, which is quite, it's not too long a time. It may show up soon than we even realize. So I just want us to go do a little breakdown as to the characters, who and who will be showing in, and then as we've already seen, but let's just delve a little deeper into these characters. And for those who are avid cinephiles, particularly of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you would definitely know where they are coming from with regards to which films they start in and how all this culminates. But especially for the comic book fans or experts, they would be able to understand the genesis of how all these stories ties in together to end up in what we'll have as Doomsday. I'm still brushing up my knowledge a bit on comic books, so I'm not an expert. I won't claim to be even near anywhere knowledgeable as to what the comic book origins of these characters entail. But from what I've watched in the films, it is quite exciting, and I'd like us to read an article that was, or that is, yeah, was published by Hollywood Reporter concerning this release. And I read, Marvel unveils Avengers Doomsday cast with MCU mainstays and X-Men Fantastic Four stars. Robert Downey Jr. returns to the MCU with other confirmed actors, including stars Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston. X-Men stars like Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, and a good chunk from the studio's Thunderbolts. There's an article written by Aaron Couch and Boris Kitt, dated March 26th. That was just yesterday. And the image you see on the screen is that of Robert Downey Jr. when he was unveiled as Doctor Doom at Comic Con last year. So 6 years after Avengers Endgame became one of the biggest movies of all time, the Avengers are finally assembling again. During a nearly 5.5 hour live stream, Marvel Studios unveiled its cast for Avengers Doomsday, revealing a mix of Marvel Cinematic Universe mainstays as well as actors from 20th Century Fox's now defunct X-Men universe and upcoming stars of Fantastic Four First Steps. Notable names missing from the roll call included Tom Holland, Spider-Man, and Chris Evans, Captain America, the latter of whom is expected to appear at least one of the two-part movies. The cast announced included Chris Hemsworth for the movie Thor, Tom Hiddleston, Loki, Anthony Mackie, Captain America, Paul Rudd, Ant-Man, Letitia Wright, Black Panther, Simu Liu, Shang-Chi, Danny Ramirez, The Falcon, and Weston Duke, M'Baku. The cast of Marvel's upcoming May release anti-hero team movie Thunderbolts was also represented with Sebastian Stan, the Winter Soldier, Florence Pugh, Elena Belova, whereas Russell, U.S. Agent David Harbour, Red Guardian, Hannah John Carmen, Ghost, and Louise Pullman, a character at this time simply known as Bob, also getting chairs in the soundstage as the live stream showed. The cast revealed also included X-Men actors Patrick Stewart, Professor X, Ian McKellen, Magneto, James Marsden, Cyclops, and Rebecca. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce the last name. So Mystique, who kicked off the modern era of superhero movies with 2000's X-Men. The film Marvel Studios boss Kevin Feige cuts his teeth on as an assistant. They will They will be joined by X2, X-Men United's um, Alan Cumming, Nightcrawler, and Kelsey Grammer Beast, who starred in X-Men The Last Stand for 20th Century Fox and had a cameo in the Marvels. Channing Tatum, who once was attached to the Gambit movie That's Never Happened, will also appear in Doomsday after making his debut in Deadpool and Wolverine. Members of the Fantastic Four are also in the cast, included Pedro Pascal, Mr. Fantastic, Vanessa Kirby, the Invisible Woman, Ibon Mos Backrack, the Thing, and Joseph Quinn, the Human Touch. Tenoch Huerta, who played Namor in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, was the first true surprise of the casting event. There were questions over his return to Marvel after he was accused of sexual misconduct in June 2023, claims he denied as false and completely unsubstantiated. He dropped out of Netflix movie amid the media storm and later appeared as a guest at Marvel's Echo premiere events, suggesting he and the studio were on good terms. Sources say that even with 26 actors announced, Marvel wasn't done with revealing the entire cast, although when and how another unveiling will occur was unclear. The event was simple. It included a shot of a director's chair with the star's name on the back every 12 minutes or so. Music from the next actor's movie would play, and the camera would shift to a new chair and name. It ended with the swell of a new take on composer Alan Silvestri's Avengers theme, revealing Robert Downey Jr. Dr. Doom in a suit and tie, giving a shh to the camera. Marvel first announced Avengers Doomsday to fanfare at San Diego Comic-Con in July, with the surprise reveal that Downey would be returning to the MCU after retiring the role of Iron Man with Endgame. The move reunited Downey, Marvel's most bankable star, with the Russo brothers, Marvel's most bankable directors, who likewise had departed the MCU after Endgame. Yeah, so I'll leave it here for now. So the roster is quite big and they are still not done. Currently, as confirmed by this article, 26 actors from the different interconnected movies in the MCU has been announced. And one key prominent group of actors or superheroes who have not been featured mainly in the main cinematic universe, except for some pockets of appearances in certain movies like you have the Multiverse of Madness by that is Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. You had um, Patrick Stewart who appeared in it, and then I think in the Marvels in the end credits you had Kelsey Grammer's character, the Beast, McCoy, appear in the end credits as well. So they have not appeared as a group entirely in the mainstream Marvel Cinematic Universe, and this would apparently be the first time they appear. That is, the Fox's X-Men universe as a group would appear. There are speculations. People are speculating. We all are speculating whether Halle Berry's Storm would feature, since you already have such stars as even Alan Cummings, Nightcrawler. You have Channing Tatum. I mean, reprising his role from Deadpool and Wolverine. So there are speculations whether more of the X-Men characters will be featured. As of now, we cannot tell. But what we know is that the likelihood of more of these X-Men characters being announced is high. We also have the Thunderbolts who will be featuring in. We have the Fantastic Four. And you cannot do this movie without them because um, the little I know about the Fantastic Four from the comics, even from the movies, the past movies, the nemesis or the villain of the Fantastic Four as a team or the royal family of Marvel is Doom, Doctor Doom. So it's it's expected for them to show up, and I'm glad they did. You have Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, I mean all of them. Sorry, all of them showing up in this movie, and it's going to really be huge. From the look of it, I think 3 hours it's good enough time, hopefully, for all these characters to receive their due screen time to make sense story wise. And I'm sure that the most bankable directors, the team, Russo brothers, will definitely deliver. And I do not doubt at all. So I'm sure in the coming days or perhaps a week from today, we may hear the rest of the cast being announced. Rumors were that Denzel Washington himself will be starring in the Marvel movies. Um, he said he will be starring in the third entry into the Black Panther franchise. The exact character will be playing is not known, but rumors keep circulating that he's likely going to play Magneto. But now with I don't know whether it's going to be another variant of Magneto, but now as we have Ian McKellen appearing or showing up, the question is he still going to play the character Magneto, a variant of him, or is going to be an entirely different character? We are yet to find out. So this ends the first story of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we'll proceed into the second story. But before we do, I would like you to subscribe, hit the subscribe button, and then like and share this video so that we can grow the film community and be able to have more conversation on movies from both the African front and the international scene. So I would like to bring my second story, and my second story, as I said, is about one of the biggest actors who himself starred in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That is Idris Elba. He's a multi-talented actor. I mean, he's a multi-talented person, from an actor, DJ, musician, rapper, and I would say a businessman, because currently what he's doing is leading a team of investors and entrepreneurs to build studios in Africa. If you would cast your mind back in last year, during the NFA event that was organized in Ghana, he showed up to announce the plans he and his partners have in building studios all across. All across Africa, because then it was the cinema summit where you had filmmakers and industry personnel from all over the continent and even from the other continents gracing the occasion to talk about the way forward with regards to African cinema, which was organized by the National Film Authority of Ghana. So he showed up and then unveiled a plan of about a $1 billion investment that would go into um, building cinemas or helping put infrastructures in place for what for the industry. And I'm really excited about it because for the past couple of days, a number of the stories or the things, the episodes that I was talking about, all comes back down to the three factors I keep talking about. That is with regards to infrastructure, and this infrastructure, data, and then policy. I mean, the good news is that at least two of this is happening, because without the policy of governments getting involved and then the necessary funding, that is infrastructure, this thing wouldn't have happened. So I'd like to read a little bit of an article before we delve into the Idris Elba's presence in Ghana to finally seal the deal and proceed with the building of the studio. So, in the CNN Business article published on October 21st, 2024, it's titled "Idris Elba is building an entertainment industry in Africa. I would dare say an empire." Okay, so I read New York. Idris Elba has conquered Hollywood with iconic roles in The Wire and Luther. Now, the London born actor is shifting his focus to a new stage, one that's 10,000 miles away. Elba, whose parents hail from Sierra Leone and Ghana, is on a mission to transform the entertainment industry in Africa. His vision is ambitious. Elba aims to build film studios across Africa, starting in Zanzibar, the Tanzanian semi-autonomous island renowned for its white sand beaches. The idea took root last year when Elba met Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan at the World Economic Forum in Davos. Their discussions led to plans for the first studio in Zanzibar, a move Elba believes could be the first building block of a global entertainment hub. In August, the government of Zanzibar promised him nearly 200 acres to begin construction. Idris Elba will be building a modern studio similar to Hollywood, Nollywood in Nigeria, or Bollywood. Zanzibar's Minister for Investment, Sharif Ali Sharif, announced. He even joked about naming the industry Zollywood or Zawood. Well, I really don't like. Anyway, that will be for another time. The project goes beyond film. Elba believes Africa's creative sector is underrepresented. Much of the imagery about Africa's isn't even generated from Africa. Elba told CNN at the Stellar Development Foundation's Meridian Conference in London this week. A lot of media is centered around negative depictions of Africa, but the median age is Africa in Africa is 19. These young people are optimistic and deserve the chance to tell their own stories. There is also significant money to be made. Though Africa comprises 18% of the world's population, it accounts for only 1% of the global creative economy, a sector that Goldman Sachs expects to double in the next 5 years. The timing couldn't be better. A recent UNESCO report shows that Africa's film and audiovisual industry could create 20 million jobs and a $20 billion to the continent's GDP by 2030. Global players like Netflix and Disney have already made sizable investments in Kenya, South Africa, and Nigeria. Still, many governments in emerging economies have yet to recognize the economic potential of the creative sector. Elba said, the lack of regulation and investment, particularly around copyright and financing, has placed limits on growth. And there's a lot more I can read, but I would like to pause it here since the main story is not even this. But this just to give you a background to what Idris Elba came to do and at an event just yesterday and about 2 days ago. So the plan in the making has been for more than a year. I believe even more than what what is officially known to the public. So I'm excited about the plans he has because with such economic might and investment, he would definitely be able to help improve the industry and the creative economy in Africa, which is really needed because there are a lot of talented creative filmmakers on the continent who, for some reason, may never be discovered because there isn't the right structures to help support what they can do. And this is really a step in the right direction that I'm really looking forward to be established. I'm glad it is not just a project happening in Ghana, but a project that is cutting across all over Africa to help build the economy, the creative economy as a whole throughout Africa and not just countries.
Buy any kind
Because
of
just
car
as I
from
said,
North America to West Africa.
sorry,
AuctionExport.com. Register. Now you can choose your dream car. Payment can be done with your credit card, a bank.
All right, so time for us.
yeah, so sorry about that. I'm still finding my way around the OBS studio software. Yeah, so just as I was saying, these plans are necessary to help build the industry that we will be proud of. Because if we operate as individual countries without a united economy or front, the proceeds to films from countries like Ghana in itself may not make any dent to even encourage filmmakers to keep on making movies. As we speak now, we don't really have um, cinema multiplexes all in all the 16 regions in Ghana. Yes, there are pockets of cinema houses across Ghana, but how much can they even make in a sitting? The well organized, the only properly well organized cinema that I know of that have multiplexes is Silverbed. Yes, there is the Global Cinema, and then the government's own, which is Snap Cinema in Accra. But for the plan that Idris Elba has, yes, the focus now is on building studios. But I believe that once the studios are built, cinemas will follow soon, because you need to, once you create a product, there has to be a market where the product is sold. And I believe that yes, in as much as there are bigger markets, I mean, out there, it wouldn't be right just to always produce the product here and then send it out there without testing the very market in which it was produced. So my belief is that it's a step in the right direction, and afterwards cinema houses and multiplexes will be built to help make this a possibility. So I like to play a brief video where Idris was talking about how excited he was and to come into Ghana, where his mother hails from. Actually, his mother is a Ghana, so he actually paid a homage, a courtesy call to the Ghana chief to receive his blessings to commence the project. Let's listen briefly to what he has to say, and then we will react to it.
Very privileged. I'm very lucky today. I know I did my family and my mum, who is Garth, proud. And it's very important to get the blessing from the chief for the work that we want to do, so that we can tell our stories, not just as the Ga tradition, but Ghanaian tradition and also African tradition. So I feel very good, very lucky.
And also getting the endorsement from the king about the studio that you really wanted to build here within 10 years. How does that feel, getting that endorsement?
You know, we and my team have been working on this for over 4 or 5 years with the previous government, with the new government. And now we look like we're getting really close to get the endorsement from both the head of state and the chief today is significant. So I feel good, I feel optimistic. There's still a lot of work to do. This project will take 5 years to build, but it's going to restore the Osu Castle. It's going to build around the land near Osu, studios, a school, a huge community engagement with shopping and walks, and really show what Ghana has to offer, what Accra has to offer.
What kind of stories are we looking at telling? Is it just the Ghana stories, or we're expanding it?
We're going to expand on every story. African stories, Ga stories, Ashanti stories, Ghanaian stories, Sierra Leone stories. This is a studio for all. and I want it to be an international studio. Of course, we are definitely wanting to focus on the local stories as well. That's important. There's a huge youth population in Ghana that have lots of stories, not just in filmmaking, but in the arts, in music. And so this environment that I'm trying to build with my team is to encourage all to come. But it's going to be, for everybody.
And for the musicians, because I know that you have a background of DJing, and so are we going to see you bringing, some musicians or DJing into this?
Listen, you know me now. I love to teach, but we're hoping to have a multi-purpose environment. So music, live music, DJing, you name it. But like I said, the hard work begins now. Now that we have the blessing from the chief, now that I have the blessing from the president, we can go.
As the son of
Okay, so this is an excerpt of an interview that Becky of Joy News, I think Joy Prime, Showbiz Prime, had with Idris Elba, and thanks to her, we have some words from Idris Elba himself concerning why he was there at the Ghana Chief's Palace for that purpose. So thank you, Becky of Joy News Prime. We are grateful for this interview. But then I'd like us to talk more about what Idris Elba said. Just as I said, they've been discussing this for more than 5 years. And it's exciting that the fruits of those discussions and those meetings is manifesting now. And then for him to have come, and then, I mean, from his own mouth, he confirmed that, hey, he's received the blessings of both the Guard chief and then the president. And in an article that I read elsewhere, where the Christian Ball Castle is, there's a parcel of land by it where I think it's 22-acre land that will be used to construct not just the studio, but also to build schools, just as he said, I'm sure to train people to help uplift the economy or the standard of living of even the environs. For the Christian Ball Castle to even be restored, it's exciting because it's even though it is part of a difficult past that we experience in regard to colonialism, it's still, we can still take it out of our culture or of our history, because there are stories around it that ought to be told. And I don't know whether that's the plan, but from it being restored, I very much believe that there are stories that will evolve around the castle that will be told, especially considering that it will be very just adjacent to the studio. And for those who don't know, the Christian Ball Castle, it also used to be the seat of government in Ghana till one of the presidents ended up building what is now known, that is President Kufuor, and ended up building the Jubilee House so that the seat of government will be moved from the castle to this Jubilee House. So as it stands now, I'm excited, and I'm glad he stressed on the fact that this studio will be international standard and will be used to tell African stories, African stories. And from what he said, and hey, I'm excited that it's not just going to be Ghanaian stories, but African stories where we can have filmmakers from the neighboring countries and beyond to come in here to shoot, because it will be nice for us to learn from each other and help build not just individual African film industries, but to build an African film industry. Because if you look at the economics of scale, the three biggest film industries in terms of finances, I'm not talking about in terms of the output of films, but in terms of finances, is America, China, and India. Yes, Nigeria is in the mix when we talk about the quantum of works that are released in a year. But in terms of how much money they make, it can't be compared to these three juggernauts of an industry. And we are hoping that if the entire continent unites, can you imagine how powerful Africa's film industry will be? Let alone talk about even the creative industry. It's going to be massive, it's going to be powerful, and we can indeed compete on the world stage and be able to have a say, to tell our own stories the way it ought to be told and share knowledge with the industries all over. So honestly, I'm really excited about this news. That's what is keeping me smiling before I even started, because this is something we've been praying for, and finally it's taking root. And I'm excited that it's not just only in Ghana, but strategic places, I'm sure, across Africa. And I'm so, so happy. The next phase of it, we do not know what it will be yet, but my prayer is that we can build the industry to be so formidable for us to really uplift the creative economy of Africa and create jobs and create a better livelihood for creatives all over the continent and even in the diaspora. So this has been the stories for today. Once again, I'll urge you to subscribe if you haven't. And if you're also watching on other social media platforms, I would like you to come subscribe and like and share this video so that we can build and grow the community of filmmakers who like to talk about films and also film enthusiasts who like to hear about films, to build a very vibrant community where we can have more of these discussions and even dialogue. So I'd like to thank you very much for staying with me for this long. And I am Papa O2, and this has been the Film Mandate. See you in our next episode.